I feel like I keep concentrating on the later seasons of CHiPs, and trust me, there's quite a few episodes from seasons 1 and 2 that I want to do filming locations for, but I can't help it, I keep coming back to seasons 5 and 6. And today we're taking a look at locations for another gem from season 6, episode 2, Tight Fit, or as I like to call it, the Barcelona Man episode. Let's go see what we can find. So the episode begins right here at this park, right over here at this playground that you see behind me, where there's a photo shoot going on. Now, unfortunately, all of the playground equipment has been updated, so all of the stuff that you see in that episode, like the slide that she's standing on and the rocket ship that you see behind her, all of that is gone. However, this building right next to the playground, this is still here, and this can be seen in the episode. Now, while the photo shoot's going on, we see that the photographer's bag is sitting there unattended, and there's two guys on motorcycles watching the photo shoot, and they're also watching that unattended bag. And behind those guys on motorcycles, you can see these houses across the street. And so they're watching the photo shoot and they wait for the right moment and they ride up and they snatch the bag. Now, luckily, Ponch and Hot Dog were sitting across the street creeping on the photo shoot and they see the whole thing. They take off after the guys on the motorcycles and the chase is on. All right, so I'm gonna try and explain this because it's a little confusing. So the camera is shooting from the bridge, and if you look right here, you'll see this bridge looks different than the one that you see in the show. That's because this is not the same bridge, but we're in the same area. So the camera is shooting from the bridge, and we see the motorcycles riding through the school, which is right over here. The buildings that we see them riding past are no longer there, but we see them come down a hill, and if you come right over here, the hill is still here. This is the hill that they come riding down, and they then make a left and they go directly onto the bridge. Well, you see, if they would have made a left to come into the wash, the bridge is no longer here. It's a little bit over to the left. But if you look right here, you can see down here and across the way, you can still see the footing for where the bridge used to be. This is where the bridge used to be, but at some point they tore this one down and they built this one just a little bit over to the left. But those houses across the way, those can be seen in the show. Those still look the same. And also when they come off of the bridge, there's a part of the school that you can see, and that building still matches up. Okay, so absolutely nothing here looks the same anymore, but it was right over there across the street at Virginia and Overland where the two motorcycles have to ride over the cars. Like I said, nothing there is the same, but when the camera turns, you can see that lamppost on the corner and you can see just a little bit of the sign for Overland. And then the camera's shooting from this side of the street and we see Ponch and Hot Dog come around the corner, and when they do, we see them pass by this building. This is probably the only building here that's still the same. So the chase comes to an end inside of a parking garage, and that was this parking garage right here across the street located inside of Sony Studios. Now, a lot of the stuff that you see outside of the parking garage looks different because they've done a lot of remodeling at Sony, but when they're first turning into the lot, in the distance you can see this tower, and that's located at the park right down the street. That's the very same park where the chase began. They head up to the roof of the parking garage, and this is where you can really match up some shots. But of course, the day that I decide to visit is the one day where they're laying down new cement on the parking garage roof. That's alright, I was still able to match a few things up. So after they arrest the two guys, Ponch comes back to the park to return the bag, and we see him pulling up right here. You can see this manhole cover and also this cover on the sidewalk. So all of the girls and the photographer are standing right here in front of this fountain, and Ponch is right over here in the street, sitting on his motorcycle, feeling like a big hero after he brings back the bag. And the photographer and the agent become interested in Ponch. They think he's good looking and that he would be good for some modeling jobs. But Ponch is not interested in modeling jobs. He's got his eye on the model, which is kind of weird because she seems like she might be a little young for him. But so the photographer ends up taking Sheila and the rest of the girls back over to the playground, and the agent stays here and continues to try and convince Ponch to go out on some modeling jobs. But Ponch isn't interested, and so the agent gives him her card, and Ponch and Hot Dog ride off to fight more crime. We see a car coming down the street right here, and it then pulls over right over here in front of this lamp post. So basically right where those 3 trash cans are, that's where the car stops. And 2 men sit inside the car and have a conversation, and we learn that those men have just stolen $8 million worth of diamonds. The passenger gets out and he gets into the vehicle that was parked in front of that car, and then just a few seconds later, we see him coming in the opposite direction, coming back up Vermont, and he passes right by Hillhurst, and when he does, he gets spotted by Ponch and Hot Dog. Now, Ponch must have the best eyes on earth because somehow, when that car drives by, he's able to see that his registration is expired. That's why Ponch is a super cop. So they spot the car driving through a residential neighborhood, which is just a couple of blocks away from where we're currently standing. But then all of a sudden, the car is in a completely different area, driving through the mountains. I didn't think we'd be able to figure out where he was, but we were able to figure it out. And we are currently at the Vermont Canyon tennis courts, and the spot where he's driving is on the top of that mountain, which you can't see because there's trees blocking it. And there's only 2 ways to get up there. There's a hiking trail over here, or you can go up this road. And if you see, it says right there, authorized vehicles only. So there's only one way to get up there. You can either go on the hiking trail or this road, but you have to walk. And it's a very long and uphill hike. And I'm gonna do it for you guys. So let's get started. Okay, I think we're about a quarter way up the hill. Good shot of downtown Los Angeles. And then, I don't know, we came from somewhere down there. Okay, we made it to the top, and it actually wasn't as bad as the other times I did it. I've been up here before because this is the same spot from Commando where he hangs Sully over the edge of the cliff. There's not a way that I can tell you exactly where this is, like there's not an address up here, but the spot where his car goes over the cliff is the Macomb helipad, and that's right over here. And so we're gonna walk over there and I'm gonna show you what happens in the scene. So if you keep walking a couple of 100 feet past the Macomb helipad, you'll get to where we first see him driving through the hills. We see him coming up this road right here, and then he continues up the road, and we get a shot looking this way where we see him come to the fork in the road. Okay, so this is roughly where they finally get him to pull over. He stops his car here, and Ponch and Hot Dog approach his car, and the man ends up getting out, and when he does, he releases his parking brake and he locks his door. What's he up to? His car starts rolling down the hill, and it goes right over here and goes off the cliff right next to the helipad, or where the helipad is. Now, the way that we were able to figure this out, I was already up here because of Commando, and when I watched that scene in CHiPs, I kind of thought of the scene in Commando, but then when we were watching it, my son noticed that when the car goes over the cliff, you can see the Griffith Observatory. And so there you have it. That's the exact shot that you get of the Griffith Observatory when the car is going over the cliff. And when the camera looks down into the canyon, it's a completely different spot. This is what it actually looks like looking down into this canyon. And what's funny is they come back to this spot later in the show and they look down there to see the car. And when they do, it's another completely different spot. We see a man standing in front of this house on the corner of Los Feliz Boulevard and North Berendo Avenue. We then see a car coming down Los Feliz Boulevard, and we find out that our jewel thief is inside of that car. He makes a left onto North Berendo Avenue, and we see his mansion, which is still here, but it looks a little bit different. Some things have definitely changed. However, those pillars on either side of the gate, those are still the same. We then find out the man that was waiting for him works for the man that he stole the diamonds for. They have a talk about the whereabouts of the diamonds right here in this driveway. So Ponch decides to take the modeling job, and all right, where have I seen this look before? It's very familiar. Now I know where I've seen it. So Ponch stops to use the payphone to try and call Sheila, and that takes place at the Fox Hills Plaza. And as you can probably already tell by this gate behind me, the Fox Hills Plaza is closed down. It's all gated off. It looks like they might be getting ready to tear it down. As for now, all of the buildings are still in there and still look the same, but it looks like that might not be the case very soon. But right over there was the grocery store where Ponch uses the payphone. So right here is where Ponch and Hot Dog stop their motorcycles, and the payphone that Ponch uses would have been right over here in front of the building. So after Ponch uses the payphone, him and Hot Dog are standing here talking when Hot Dog notices a car that matches the description of the one that they're looking for. They go to question the guy, and the guy takes off running, and they know that they found their man. And Ponch pushes a shopping cart at him and knocks him into the shopping cart. And when he does, you can see the buildings across the way. You can see this building right here. And really quick, I just wanted to bring something up. This is something that I've mentioned before, but every episode that I've covered so far of CHiPs has featured this red station wagon. I've got to find out what the deal is with this car, and I've got to find out where it is now. So Ponch and Hot Dog are cruising down Sunset Boulevard when they see a large crowd standing right about here. They're standing in front of a building that used to be here, but unfortunately it was torn down, along with the shopping center that used to be right here that was used in the movie Falling Down. But anyways, Ponch and Hot Dog see the large crowd and they notice that they're slowing down traffic, so they pull over to try and disperse the crowd. And as they're standing here telling everyone to get up on the sidewalk, Ponch decides to turn around and see what everyone's looking at, and he looks right up there, and that's when he sees it, the Barcelona Man billboard featuring Frank Poncherello. Now, currently, Barcelona Man is Adam Sandler. It's currently a billboard for Happy Gilmore 2, but that is the very same billboard that was used in the episode. Also, that liquor store right below it, that's the very same building. Unfortunately, that liquor store now has a wall going around it, and it looks like it might not be here too much longer. But that's the very same building that you see in the episode, the very same sign. And so Ponch is standing here looking at the billboard, and he can't believe what he's seeing. Hot Dog is absolutely loving it. And while Ponch is standing here looking at it, someone in the crowd realizes that Ponch is Barcelona Man, and they start to go a little bit crazy. And just about then they get a call over the radio that there's an incident at Sunset Boulevard and Reseda.
Mary 6 and 7, meet 15, Mary 10 at Reseda and Sunset.
Now Ponch, you know darn well there is no Sunset and Reseda. Full of lies. But anyways, they hop on their motorcycles and they ride off to the incident. But the Barcelona Man remains right here at Sunset Boulevard and Selma Avenue. And in our hearts, the Barcelona Man will always be here. So they get the call when they're in Hollywood, and they then arrive here in downtown Los Angeles to Sunset and Reseda, which is actually Spring and 6th Street. And we see Ponch and Hot Dog coming down 6th Street right over here, and they pass Spring, and they then arrive right over here at this corner where there's a crowd standing in front of this building. Now, once they arrive, they find out the reason why they're here is there's a woman standing on the ledge, and it's Sheila, and she's standing on the ledge of this building right here, and there's only one person that can talk her down, and it's Ponch. So Ponch is able to get Sheila back inside without any incident, and his plan is coming together nicely. Now, as I mentioned before, they head back to the spot where the car went over the cliff to try and find the car, but when they get there, the car is gone and there's now a body of water at the bottom. They look just as confused as we are. So they head to a local wrecking yard to see if the car is there, but when they get there, they find the two diamond thieves. The thieves take off, but they get cut off by Linehan and Grossman. And now Ponch and Hot Dog are able to place them under arrest. Man, is there anything the CHP can't do? So Ponch and Hot Dog are riding down the street talking when all of a sudden they see a truck come speeding down the street and make a left turn right in front of them. That truck was coming down this street. He then makes a left turn right here. And when he does, you can see this building, probably the only building here that still looks the same. And then Ponch and Hot Dog are coming up the street right behind him, and when they take off after him, you can see that they pass by the Fox Hills Plaza once again. So they continue to chase after the truck, and they're now coming down this street, and they end up pulling the truck over right over here in front of this building. And you can see this building and the one next to it throughout that scene. And so they get the guy out of the truck, and they're asking him why he was speeding. The guy's going crazy, he's all frantic, and he tells Ponch and Hot Dog that he's got to get to a hospital because his wife is in labor. But not to worry, it's nothing Ponch can't handle. And a few moments later, Ponch comes out of the camper to let the guy know that he's now a father. Just then, the paramedics show up, but I mean, what's the point? Ponch already did your job. So Ponch and Hot Dog head over to Jeff's photo studio to have a talk with him, and we see them coming down Sunset Boulevard right here, passing by this building, which still looks somewhat the same. They then pull up in front of Creepy Jeff's photo studio, and that building is completely different. It's now a Chase Bank, but they would have parked their motorcycles right in front and then run inside. And once Jeff sees them, he knows he's done with, and the first chance he gets, he takes off running. He comes out of the side of the building, and he comes running around the corner, and he jumps into his van, and lucky for him, Ponch forgets how to use a door handle, and Jeff is able to take off. He rounds the corner onto Orange Grove Avenue, and the chase is on. So the chase goes from Hollywood to downtown Los Angeles, where we see them passing by this temple. The van then makes a left turn onto Gary Street, which as you can see is no longer possible. This used to be Gary Street, but you can no longer drive on it, and there's now these new apartments and some newer businesses here. This entire area has changed, which you're about to see. We then see them turning onto 2nd Street from Alameda. A couple of things here are still the same. They're now going the opposite direction on 2nd Street. You can see none of the buildings here are the same anymore. The van then makes a left turn onto Rose Street. Once again, none of the buildings are the same. We then see them turning off of Traction Avenue back onto Rose, coming right back to where they just came from. Once again, none of the buildings are the same except for this building on the corner on the right side. And they're now once again heading down Gary Street towards 2nd Street. So the van flips over right here at 2nd Street in Gary. We see Ponch running out to the van. It then does a weird cut to the Barcelona Man billboard, and we're now in a completely different location. So they flip the van over in downtown Los Angeles, and then for whatever reason, they pick the van up, bring it all the way down here to Long Beach, California, and flip it over again and place it right out here in the middle of Pine Avenue and Seaside Way, right next to the Long Beach Convention Center. Now, the main building that you can see in the background is that one right over there. Looks a little bit different now because it has that pedestrian bridge that kind of blocks the building. You can also see this building behind Hot Dog. You can mainly see that portion right there on the corner. Now, the majority of the scene was filmed in downtown Los Angeles, and the portion that was shot here in Long Beach is really just a couple of seconds of the scene. So I have no idea why they had to come all the way down here to Long Beach just for a few seconds, but for whatever reason, they did. Well, Ponch, you better watch out. There's a new Barcelona Man in town. All right, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed checking out these locations with me. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.